Well, good morning. Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Bountiful Roots. I just thought I'd do something a little different, be a little bit more personable with this video. This is an old video from 2021. I'm out here kind of reflecting, looking at the yard, a little upset because I let it get away from me. As you see, bam, bunch of weeds everywhere. So this was April of 2021. It had been doing a lot of raining, and so this is about March or May, and so as you see, it really got away from me. I was trying this year to grow the garden using. Well, actually, I like to look at the ground. I like to see what the ground looks like and kind of have rows. Cause I think the ground is very pretty, but it didn't work out that way. Um, so let me see that bush that right there. That is some turmeric and basil. That frame right there is what I used. I tried putting bell peppers right there and then putting like a shade cloth over it, but it wasn't working out too well. The sun will still burn the sides of the bell peppers once they really got there growing. Because I'm in 9B area. Let me see. Let's see what I'm looking at here. Back up a little bit. Back up. So that I think I'm going. Okay, so that little tray right there, that is some more Swiss chard and greens. That's me getting mad and dropping the hoe because I'm not able to use it. It had been raining so much, the ground is still wet. And so whenever I would drag it across there, instead of just cutting the top of the plants off as usual, it was pulling the soil, roots, and everything up. It was really kind of tearing it up. So that was me just kind of dropping out of frustration. So I can't use it. All right, so I'm going down. I'm looking at this turmeric right here. I forgot that I had planted that turmeric, and I forget it. I'm going to forget again. But anyway, that's turmeric right there. You'll be able to see in a later video me harvesting it, cleaning it off, and then taking it through the process of drying and grinding it up. I'll show you that in later videos. So out there I also have I have more turmeric and ginger, which I have since covered up, as you'll see later in some videos. I've covered it up with some tarp. All right, so you just saw those greens right there. That was lettuce and some mustard greens, red mustard greens. So we're going to ease on over here. You see that big bush right there? That big bush is stinging nettle. I have people that constantly ask if I planted that on purpose, and as always, yes, I did. I planted that on purpose. It's a very important plant, important herb. It's very nutritious. It's just hard to harvest because it will sting you and sting you and sting you, and no problem. But yeah, it's very healthy. I use it as vitamins in my in the teas that I make. So this is just me showing the how it's going to seed. You see all the little bitty seeds in there. I had to pull that up because, as I said, I tarped the whole yard, and I had to pull that up. So I cut some larger squares in it. This year I'm going to plant it again. Hopefully it'll grow and will work out just fine. So what we're looking at now is motherwort. That also is an important herb. We'll go over herbs in later videos. Just kind of giving you an idea. That's a motherwort. That the seeds fell off that main plant, fell over to the side and started growing. That's some spinach. That's some of the spinach that's in that tray also that I was going to plant. I did end up planting. But as you saw in the middle of this video, it rained so much until it just got away from me. So that's some Swiss chard I have right there. I always grow Swiss chard. I think it's a nice looking plant. It also tastes good. You're going to be able to see a little bit more right there. You see how waxy and pretty that is. Nice and shiny. Very healthy. So what I have down there is a lot of soil and um, mushroom compost. I had to bring all that in. The yard is very clay. It has a lot of gray and black clay in there. That black clay is really hard to deal with, and the gray clay is just very sticky. So I had to bring my own soil in and my own mushroom compost, put it out there. That's why the soil is so black, because it's very healthy. I had to put all that out there. So this is that's beets to the right and radish to the left. But I'm talking about my Spanish uh, grapevine right here. I'm going on my third year with it. This is the second year that you're looking at. Planted out there, and it grew pretty quick. But now, well, I'll show you later in this video. Okay, so now it's nice and full. It grew through the fence. I had to cut it back. Anyway, yeah, that it grew through the fence. So this is just where I have 3 rows going across the fence for the vines to grow down. It's almost at the end of the fence now. It grew very fast. I didn't know it was going to grow that fast, but it grew very quickly. Let me see. On the second year, I did have grapes, but of course they did not fully develop. So hopefully this year on the third year, hopefully I'll be able to get a harvest of some grapes. I'm just showing you the 3 rows that I have. As I said, they're about past that post you were looking at. That's what it used to look like. Now it's nice and brown, thick and brown, like that one. And this one right there, that's the original plant. That's the original vine right there. So all that right there is growing up in the middle of that, in that corner right there. That ended up going through the fence, went all the way out to my trees in the front. As I said, I did not know it was going to grow that fast. So right here, I was considering growing, allowing more vines to go back this way, but I changed my mind. I just have those 3. I wanted to have plenty of energy to hopefully produce me some grapes. So that's just the pot that it's in. That is a parsley turnip. It was supposed to be something slow growing, but here in 9B, it's hot. It grew quickly and ended up rotting in there in that pot. That's all right. So that right there on the right between the radish and that stinging nettle, that is some kohlrabi. That was my first year growing it. It tastes pretty good too. It does taste like cabbage as advertised. All right, so this is some radish that I have in there, just different radish. Sometimes I'll start planting some stuff and I'll just get, I don't know what you want to call it, frustrated, impatient, and just throw a bunch of seeds out there. So that's why there's some. I planted those right there on purpose. Those are some daikon and icicle radish. They are long white ones. They taste good. They grow very well. They get nice and big too. So this is some turnips right here. I have one particular customer I grow those for. I like to grow those, and she doesn't eat the tops. She only eats the bottoms, and I make sure they get nice and big for her. Cut the tops off, um, dry them out. Use that for either greens to eat or the nutrients in the herbal teas. All right. So here are the cucumbers. So these cucumbers, I always like to grow the big ones, long ones. I look to see what people at the farmers market are growing. I try to grow something different, but the customers are always right in this case. So I had to grow some smaller cucumbers because no one liked the big ones, or not enough. I'll say not enough people like big ones. So these are small ones. These are something I got from Canada. The other ones are Adam Gherkin. They're all they produce very well. The ones from Canada, they don't. They slow down, not quickly, but they do slow down once it starts to get hot. But the Adam Gherkins, they grow really good. This one right here is a lemon cucumber. That one tastes good. That's one of the ones I do like. As I said, I don't like cucumbers, but I will eat the lemon cucumber. Tastes good. So those are just more other small ones. That is a trellis that I built. It's 10 feet tall. When I first started, I used to use these long bamboo sticks. The bamboo would be about 14 feet long. I would just shove them into the ground and grow the cucumbers and tomatoes up those. But I've since changed. I built this trellis. The trellis is 10 feet tall. I'm using uh, baling rope to grow the cucumbers and tomatoes up. As you see, I put the end of the rope in the ground with the roots. Just tie a little knot down there. Let the plant grow up it as it's growing up. I will twist it around, and that will help to support it. That is a Mexican gherkin. I don't put the rope down there because that thing grows too wild. It turns into a whole spider web and it takes over that whole area. But um, it makes these small watermelon-looking cucumbers. They taste good. It produces a lot. It's kind of worth it. You should try it at the Mexican gherkins. You should try it. So that tarp right there, I had that down. I pulled it up, as I said. I was just trying to. I thought I had more time, but I didn't. Thought I had more time to keep up with the garden. So I had that tarp out there the prior year, 2020. I pulled it up for 2021. And as you saw with all of the weeds, I ended up putting it back down for 2022. And they're going to stay down now. I'm not going to pull it up anymore. Those are bricks that I use. I've used those bricks for multiple projects. I first bought them. I had about 20 or 30 squares out there, and I was using the blocks for that. And so I've tried a few different ways of gardening out there, and that's what I'm doing now. Put the tarp out. All those are rows. I think there's 8 rows out there. I put tarp over all of them, put the bricks to keep them weighed down, and that's how I garden. I'll go into detail about the irrigation in another video. I think it's 2 of them I've already made, but yeah, I'll go into more detail about that, about the irrigation. So yeah, it's old tarp. I ended up buying some more, putting it out there, and yeah, it's working good. What you see on the right, that was me trying something different. That's what I'm always doing. I was trying to grow the tomatoes at an angle, putting right there, going across all the way up to the top of that trellis, but that did not work because it would end up growing to the sky more than it would going at an angle. So yeah, I'm not going to try that again. I'll just stick to what I put in the trellis or in that bed right there. That bush you see at the front of the tarp, that is lemon balm. That is the first herb that I actually started using. I was working at a stressful job, and I would take that, make a nice tea out of it, and it does relax you, get you ready for bed. So the white tubes that you see on the ground right there, that is irrigation for the roots, because you know that tomatoes and cucumbers, the leaves doesn't like to get wet. So I irrigate those directly at the roots. As I said, I'll go into more detail about that in a later video. Well, that's it, everyone. I appreciate y'all joining me. I'll just go into more detail on different things later. I appreciate y'all giving me a chance. Appreciate y'all watching me. And that is it. Y'all have a good evening.